Bill Cosby was born on July 12, 1937 in Pennsylvania. Bill was the oldest of 4 kids in a family that struggled financially. Shortly after his brother died, Bill got a few side jobs at the age of 9 and continued going to school, but not for long. By the 10th grade, he had dropped out to join the Navy, where he also excelled in the track team and found his love for comedy. This led to his acting career. Cosby started out starring on the show I Spy as one of the very few African-American actors on television. This showed blacks and whites as equals to each other, and it helped Bill Cosby win 3 Emmys. With many shows to follow on NBC, Bill's career boosted ratings of this station from last to first place. However, the climax of his career has to be The Cosby Show, the highest-rated sitcom for 5 consecutive years. Bill Cosby also accomplished the earning of his doctorate. Today, Bill Cosby works with African-American teenagers in the arts. He helps them excel in art, acting, singing, and comedy careers.
Sidney Poitier was born on February 20th, 1927 in Miami, Florida, but at age 10, he moved to New York to pursue a career in acting. He received acting lessons in exchange for working as a janitor at the American Negro Theater in New York City. He starred in the groundbreaking blockbuster Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. In the movie, he played a black man who was engaged to a white woman. The movie gave a look into interracial marriages and the struggles they had at the time. Sidney Poitier also starred in other movies including In the Heart of the Night, Lilies of the Field, The Simple Life of Noah Dearborn, Free of Eden, and many more. In 1964, he became the first African American to win an Academy Award. Then in 2000, he received a Grammy Award for the Best Spoken Word Album for the audio version of his book, The Measure of a Man. In 2009, he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama, and then he also earned the Chaplin Lifetime Achievement Award from the Film Society of Lincoln Center.
I became interested in the civil rights struggle out of a necessity to survive, and I think my interest started many years ago, never as intensely, however, as it exists today.
How about a personal participation, such as today's extraordinary participation? Is this a rare experience for you?
No, it is not a rare experience for me. I found, having lived in New York and in other parts of America over the last 20 years, since I came from the Caribbean, I found it necessary for self-protection and to perpetuate my survival that I involve myself in any activity that would ease my burden momentarily.
Stevie Wonder was born May 13, 1950 in Saginaw, Michigan. His real name was Stephen Hardaway Judkins, but he got his nickname Stevie Wonder because of his magnificent musical abilities. He got his first record deal at age 12, and although he was blind, he was multi-talented and played many instruments, such as the drums, harmonica, and piano. His mother, Lula, kept him in the house because she knew he would not be accepted as both a black and blind boy. However, as Stevie aged and learned to play more musical instruments, he made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Stevie Wonder won 15 Grammys throughout the 1970s. His lyrics were meaningful and accepting for everyone. For example, in his song Heaven Help Us All, Stevie sang, "Heaven help the black man if he struggles one more day. Heaven help the white man if he turns his back away. Heaven help the man who kicks the man who has to crawl. Heaven help us all."
Let's welcome him now, the great Stevie Wonder.
Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Heaven help us all. Heaven help the black man.
Oprah Winfrey was born on July 29, 1954. She has become one of the most admired American television icons of her time. In 1987, when The Oprah Show had been on the air for just 6 months, Oprah taped a show in Forsyth County, Georgia, which had gained a reputation for being a hotbed of racism. Oprah spoke to an audience of local community members and bravely spoke out to say it was time for change. On The Oprah Show in 1998, Oprah talked with Edward Ball, who had come face to face with the relatives of slaves his family owned. On behalf of his family, Edward offered them his apology. She even conducted an experiment at one of her shows one day, which discriminated the audience by their eye color. Winfrey has made many large gifts to several historical black colleges and universities, such as the United Negro College Fund, the Harold Washington Library, Chicago Academy of Arts, Chicago Public Schools, and Tennessee State University. Oprah never hesitated to go to extreme lengths in order to fight for what she believed in. She has encouraged racial equality and openly talked about it on her show for decades. From interviews to conducting experiments, Oprah wanted to get this issue out in the open. There is no doubt that she has had a huge impact on Americans and the civil rights movement over the years. Marvin Gaye was born on April 2, 1939 in Washington, D.C. He grew up singing in his father's church, but he had a rough childhood living with his abusive father. Music was Marvin's passion and escape as a child. He dropped out of high school and joined the Air Force for a little while, then made a musical group called the Marquis, who weren't all that successful. Later on, he signed as a solo artist with Motown Records, where he became a huge hit. He really impacted the civil rights movement through his music and his voice. He made people realize the importance of children, education, financial aid, and most importantly, hardship and racism. He wrote songs infused with social consciousness and the spirit of the movement. Many of his songs, such as What's Going On, became extremely popular with the civil rights activists. This song was a new kind of protest song, which discussed how America was torn apart by war, poverty, and prejudice. What really separated Marvin Gaye from other artists during this time was that he didn't express his thoughts on discrimination with anger, but with compassion. Marvin was shot and killed by his father on April 1st, 1984 at the age of 45, but one of his most famous quotes lives on: "War is not the answer, only love can conquer hate."
There's too many of you cry. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you die. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate.